Hello, beautiful people. So when I do these videos, I usually do them in one take. And this one, to be completely transparent, I am starting this over again because the place that Spirit was leading me, I wasn't prepared for. There are times when Spirit brings me a message that I find myself fighting it because it feels either too clean, like too easy, to a message where it's like, you don't understand how hard it is here, Spirit, right? Or it's a message where there are so many layers, and especially when I'm doing message work one-on-one, but really with these videos, that I'm like, oh, there are so many layers, Spirit. Like, I can understand where you're going as I'm processing it through my system, but is this going to actually hit with the people who are hearing it on outside my head? And that's a place where I just have to have faith, and I have to trust Spirit, and that they know what they're doing. They know who this message is going to reach every day, and that the person will hear it the way they need to hear it. So I'm going to jump back into this. I know it's going to be the same messages coming through, but I just need to preface that. It's just a moment of honesty and transparency. More transparency, because this is where this message is going, is I personally have had a really rough day. I had the day off and I had plans of how I was going to, tidy up my house. I was going to go for a run. I was going to do all these things that were really like self-care for me as I'm moving through the world during this really difficult time. And I got out of bed, and I felt like I was moving through sludge. I couldn't, from the moment I woke up, my heart felt heavy, my legs felt heavy, and I was just like, I don't know if I can do this. It's one of the reasons I didn't have a morning message today. And I want you to know that if you wake up in the morning, and this could be occasionally, this could be every day for a week, this could be every day for a month, and you are unable to step back into your authentic self, step back into your joy, step back onto your path where you know you are creating something that's for the better, especially during this dark and turbulent time where we are seeing these systems that were built, this is just my take, right? That were built on intellect alone, especially here in the United States. These were things that were built during the Enlightenment, where we thought that we could control everything and we could create a utopia if we were smart enough, right? If we thought things through and put together these beautiful arguments and these beautiful plans and these beautiful laws and regulations and systems, where we had these bullet pointed lists and all of these clauses that was to jump in for every scenario, right? That could cover everything with our brain. And what we're finding in this moment is that was a good start. It got us somewhere, but there was no heart in it. There was no spirit in it. There was no concept of community. Here in the United States, we know that those systems that were built to support rich, landowning, white men. And that other people that were part of this country, part of this land that is stolen, right, were never built into those systems. And that tells us, just that alone tells us that this was never built from a place of love, that this was never built from a place of community. This was never built from a place of unity, and heart, soul, spirit was not leading the way, right? But some good stuff came out of it. It wasn't perfect. It wasn't even close to perfect, but some good stuff came out of it. We are in a place where we can learn from what our intellect was able to create and build. And now we're seeing we need to infuse this with love, with authentic self, with spirit, with inner knowing, with those pieces of intuition, right? That can lead us and guide us towards our niches, towards our soul path, towards our discovery, with that understanding that comes from love energy, that everyone is important, everyone is of equal value, Everyone has a role to play. We need to start creating systems, right, where that is built in, where no one is left behind. No matter what their role is to play, it is valued just as much as the person standing next to them. And that doesn't come from the intellect. That comes from the heart. That comes from spirit. That comes from love. That comes from this understanding of unity and community and dignity. And those are all love-based things. They don't come from the mind. So we are in this moment where we're doing this huge shift from letting intellect lead the way to what the next part of our path looks like, to letting heart lead the way with the intellect supporting it, with the intellect used as a tool, with the heart being the master and the intellect being the servant, right? And that's a huge shift that we're trying to do. And as we're doing that, sometimes our heart is going to get heavy because it's a lot of pressure. It's a lot of building up new muscles because we're taught, especially in our education system, to always lead from the brain. So leading from our heart every single day is new to a lot of us, right? And as we're doing that, our heart, our soul, our spirit is practicing moving through the world and taking the lead, we're going to find that anything that was covering it, anything that was hiding our authentic self from us, anything that was hiding our confidence, our soul power, our inner knowing from us, is going to get pulled to the surface, right? And it's going to need to be released. The other thing that's going to be happening as we start leading from our heart, we're going to get that energy moving. And anytime that we are being empathetic in a heart way, not just in a mental way where we're putting ourselves in someone's shoes through our mind, but putting ourselves in someone else's shoes, witnessing their story, feeling their pain, bringing it into our heart, and having a moment, even if it's for a split second, of understanding that everyone is connected in this beautiful, vibrant, immense way, that as that is happening to someone else, it's also happening to me, even if it's for a split second. As we are doing that work, we're also pulling in other people's pain, other people's shadow, other people's rubble that is burying their inner light. And what we need to do is actually make sure we have good practices to release the rubble that is covering our inner light, and any of the rubble that we're picking up or bringing into our system as we're having those pure moments of empathy as we're leading from the heart. So I'm already kind of tapping into spirit, but I do want, some of that was me, some of that was spirit, right? But I do want to tap in and go purely to spirit's message of how, because this is my question for today, because I need a message from spirit as much as you probably do today, because I, again, had a hard day since the beginning. So my question, we're going to frame it. We're not even going to open it up for anything. It's spirit, help us in this moment of shift and change from where we're leading from the heart as opposed to the intellect. How do we find our joy when we wake up in the morning and feel it buried under all the pain that we know exists in the world? When we find it buried under all this energy in our system because we rarely lead from our hearts in our life up to this point. How do we release that energy so we can get back to that joy center, so we can get back to that clarity of knowing who we are and of where we're moving toward? What can we do? And I open up that question, asking for an answer from love, from light energy. So this is what Spirit's bringing through. So they're thanking me for being vulnerable right now, but they're also thanking all of you for being vulnerable, because you have had these moments in your head, if you're watching this video, where you have said, oh man, I don't know if I can do this another day. Like, I know that leading with love, leading from my heart, letting my heart tell me what the next steps are versus what my brain thinks the next steps are, because my brain is going to follow patterns. My brain is going to follow the way things have always been done. And my body is going to give me signals about protection. My heart is going to lead me to what needs to happen next, where I'm going to find my most authentic self, where I'm going to find the most joy, and where I can do the most good to heal myself, my family, my community, and the world. And they're saying, you have had these days too, just like I'm having today, of how do I get up and do this again? How? So they're thanking all of you for being vulnerable. And they're saying that is the first step. They're saying, don't run away from these dark days when you are saying, oh, I don't know if I can do this another day. I'm almost ready to give up. I don't feel like my voice is making any difference. I feel like I'm the only one that is getting the message right now that we need to lead from our hearts and not our mind. Everyone around me is trying to think their way out of this problem, and I just want to scream from the rooftops. No, we need to sit in silence. We need to feel our way through this problem. We need to look for inspiration, because everything that you are screaming from the how do we get out of this and how do we think our way through this problem, you're doing the same thing over and over and over again. We're just repeating patterns, and you feel isolated, and you feel alone, and you feel like the crazy person, because you're saying, no, love exists. No, unity exists. No, we can move through this. There is a different way out. And they're saying, thank you for believing, and thank you for being vulnerable. And they're saying, when you feel this way, when you feel similar to the way that I do today, where it's like, oh, I don't know if I can do this. I feel like I'm shouting into the void. People whose hearts are in the right place, people whose emotions are in the right place, they want to protect, they want to heal, they want to help, they want to push back against oppression and darkness and separation. And you are screaming internally screaming, because you're not screaming out loud, screaming internally, but you're doing the same thing over and over again. You're doing the same thing they are on the other side. Your emotions are in the right place. You're doing this for the right reason, but you're not engaging properly. Your strategy is off. And you want to say, lead from the heart, go within. This is a lot. And they're saying, what we need you to do is practice release. Practice figuring out how that you are going to move that energy of frustration through your body. Figuring out how to move that energy of feeling disconnected, because that's what a lot of you are feeling right now, is you are feeling disconnected. You know you're in the right spot. You know you are on the right path, but it's a lonely path to walk when you are trying to lead from your heart and the rest of the world is still trying to lead from the intellect. So they're saying you need to be, and what they're also saying is, like, when you are leading from your heart, it activates this different energy, and it pulls up anything that was smothering your light energy before, smothering your soul power before, smothering your authentic self from rising to the surface before. It's like pushing all that garbage upward, right? And then once it's released, like once it's upward, you can feel it in your body. You can feel it kind of with the barrier that it is. And they're saying that's a good thing. They're saying don't back down from that. Find a way to release it. They're also saying a lot of you, not only are you dealing with your own garbage coming to the surface, because they're saying, again, this is going to happen every time you start leading from your heart right now, because we haven't done that as a collective in a really long time. And most of us who are on this path right now are just starting to walk it, who are just starting to figure out how to lead from their heart every day. We've had moments here and there where we are able to sustain it for a brief moment in time, maybe an hour, maybe a dinner conversation, maybe a weekend. Maybe there was like a month or two during the brightest months of summer where you felt like you were leading from your heart every single day, but then we go back into our old routines. This is the most sustained effort collectively that we've had in a long time, where more and more people are trying to lead from their heart every single day and trying to let intellect be the tool instead of the leader, right? So they're saying that is coming to the surface. It's meant to come to the surface. Figure out how you're going to release it. They're also saying what's happening is so many of us who are doing this work, not only were we bringing our own crap to the surface that we figure out how to release as we strengthen this heart-based leadership, we're also bringing up, we're bringing in, because we're empaths, we're bringing in and holding on and cradling everyone else's darkness and shadow and pain and suffering. So it almost is like a double whammy right now for a lot of us. So they're saying right now, today's message is figure out self-care, and real self-care, not the kind of self-care they teach you in workshops. In the kind of self-care where you are able to actually visualize this heavy energy bubbling up to the surface where you can feel it, because a lot of you are feeling it now. A lot of you are dealing with chronic pain. A lot of you are dealing with weird things and sensations on your skin. A lot of you are dealing with headaches. They're saying this is your body recognizing it come to the surface. Now we have to figure out ways to flush it out of our system. Good practices are visualizations, getting in the shower, saying a prayer in the shower to release this stuff, and actually think of it going down the drain, dripping from your body, going out, touching grass. Mother Earth can carry this energy that you're witnessing. The instinct to cradle, to carry, to hold. Mother Earth is built for that, and she can actually do something really cool with that energy of pain and sorrow that we can't. She can actually use it as nutrients to provide for future and current life. So if we can give it back to her, she can take that energy and do it something useful with it. It's almost selfish of us to hold it in our body thinking we're the only one that can handle it, when Mother Earth can actually use it to create nutrients. So figuring out ways to understand that this pain, these sensations you're feeling in your body, this heaviness in your chest, this fogginess, this grogginess that I woke up with this morning, there's an energetic component to it, and we need to get it out of our bodies so that we can continue to walk forward. So I'm going to leave this there with light and love. There are so many layers, as there are with many of my messages. But I think this is all important. So I'm going to end it here. And I hope this was helpful for you. I'm going to go back and listen to this after I post it, because I know that it's also meant for me. You're not alone. And this work isn't easy. And I see you and I'm here for you. If you need to talk about your experiences, know that I need to talk about it in community as well. So don't hesitate reaching out to me. We're in this together. I'll leave that with you with light and love.